I am sorry to own I began to worry them. This was already a fresh departure for me. I was not used to things. I was not used to get things that way, you know. I always went on my own road and on my own legs where I had a mind to go. I wouldn't have believed it myself, but then, you see, I felt somehow I must get there by hook or by crook. So I worried them. The men said, "My dear fellow," and did nothing. Then, would you believe it, I tried the women. I, Charlie Marlowe, set the women to work. To get a job, heavens! Well, you see, the notion drove me. I had an aunt, a dear, enthusiastic soul. She wrote, "It will be delightful. I am ready to do anything, anything for you. It's a glorious idea. I know the wife of a very high personage in the administration, and also a man who has lots of influence with," etc., etc. She was determined to make no end of fuss, and get me appointed skipper of a river steamboat, if such was my fancy. I got my appointment, of course, and got it very quick. It appears the company had received news that one of their captains had been killed in a scuffle with the natives. This was my chance, and it made me the more anxious to go. It was only months and months afterwards, when I had made the attempt to recover what was left of the body, that I heard the original quarrel arose from a misunderstanding about some hens. Yes, 2 black hens. Fresleben, that was the fellow's name, a Dane, thought himself wronged somehow in the bargain, so he went ashore and started to hammer the chief of the village with a stick. Oh, it didn't surprise me in the least to hear this, and at the same time to be told that Fresleben was the gentlest, quietest creature that had ever walked on 2 legs. No doubt he was, but he had been a couple of years already out there engaged in the noble cause, you know, and he probably felt the need of at last asserting his self-respect in some way. Therefore he whacked the old nigger mercilessly, while a big crowd of people watched him thunderstruck, till some man, I was told the chief's son, in desperation at hearing the old chap yell, made a tentative jab with his spear at the white man, and of course it went quite easy between the shoulder blades. Then the whole population cleared into the forest, expecting all kinds of calamities to happen, while on the other hand the steamer Fresleben commanded had also gone into a bad panic, in charge of the engineer, I believe. Afterwards, nobody seemed to trouble much about Fresleven's remains until I got out and stepped into his shoes. I couldn't let it rest, though, but when an opportunity offered at last to meet my predecessor, the grass growing through his ribs was tall enough to hide his bones. They were all there. The supernatural being had not been touched after he fell, and the village was deserted. The huts gaped black, rotting, all askew within the falling enclosures. A calamity had come to it, sure enough. The people had vanished. Mad terror had scattered them, men, women, and children, through the bush, and they had never returned. What became of the hens I don't know either. I should think that the cause of progress got them anyhow. However, through this glorious affair I got my appointment before I had fairly begun to hope for it. I flew around like mad to get ready, and before 48 hours I was crossing the channel to show myself to my employers and sign the contract. In a very few hours I arrived in a city that always makes me think of a whited sepulchre. Prejudice, no doubt. I had no difficulty in finding the company's offices. It was the biggest thing in the town, and everybody I met was full of it. They were going to run an oversea empire and make no end of coin by trade.